Hello all. I have a beer that I really like. It's been available around for quite a few years now. Cambridge Brewing Company's Remain in Light. It just says Hoppy Pilsner on here. I don't tell you much about it at all, though I do give you the calories and carbs. It's 5% alcohol and it has 135 calories. Pretty low. It's like down, like lower than High Life, I think. Which is weird because when I've had this before, I didn't think it was, ultra dry. So the deal with this is that it's contract brewed by Wachusett for Cambridge Brewing Company, but it's very well made Pilsner. It's kind of unique. I'm pretty sure it's made with rice and Hallertau Sapphire hops. That's a Hallertau variety that is just a little bit newer, a little bit more fruity and intense maybe than your traditional noble hops, but not like Hallertau Blanc or Mandarin and Bavaria, these new German hops that are almost like as fruity and intense as American hops. So slightly unique things here, but not that wildly different. It's not like packed with American hops and bitterness in a way that makes it more like an IPL or anything. And because of special situations right now, if you buy it directly from the brewery, you can get a case of this for $30, which is a pretty good deal because this is a really well-made craft Pilsner. Not the best, but you can see lots of bubbles coming up there. Kind of big bubbles. The head looks pretty nice despite the big bubbles in there. Let me just get that filled. Yeah, you can still get that really nice big Pilsner head that tells you it was brewed very well. And I don't think there's really much of a haze in here. Only extremely microscopic particles, I guess. And it has a lot of that classic Pilsner smell, but just a little bit different. It's like a little bit of melon. Just a little bit different. It's just hard to describe. It's not as like a herbal and grassy and floral maybe. And the rice adds its own unique sort of thing. It's not just cracker. It's not like sake or anything, but it just makes it seem a little sweeter, I guess. That's the thing about Budweiser and Bud products, is using the rice makes it seem sweeter. That's maybe why this seems a little sweeter than it actually is. Very nice. I can't believe it's only 135 calories. That's amazing. And it's 5% alcohol, so it's like higher calories, and also higher ABV. Lower calories, but somehow higher ABV than something like High Life. It's very nicely made beer, and the head is looking quite nice, rocky and all that stuff. Gonna have some good lacing. And the body isn't completely watery. It's a little bit soft, has a little bit of a vanilla wafer type thing that I often get from Pilsners. I feel like the rice is even making it seem more like sweet vanilla like. And so it's a little bit spicy in the finish. Teensy bit of black pepper, but pretty low on the IBUs. They don't list the IBUs. But I feel like I've had a lot of Pilsners that were drier and more crisp than this. Not that this is like missing the mark and it's like yeasty and fruity and sweet. It still fulfills the role. I still would call it a Pilsner, even though I'm kind of picky about those things. If you add fruit to it, or if you use a bunch of American hops or Galaxy hops, then it's not really a Pilsner anymore. But this still, I think, in a blind tasting, I'd probably call it a Pilsner. Yeah, it's actually a little bit soft on the palate. This is kind of a prickle from the big bubbles. It still has that softness that you like from Pilsners and Helleses. Maybe this is more kind of in between a Pilsner and a Helles, with a little rice thrown in there. And there's a very, very light sulfury note, but I don't get it in the flavor. I think I only get it a little bit in the aroma, which is something you get from lagers. I don't like too much of it, because then it can have this weird savory, sulfury stinkiness to it. But it doesn't have that. So it finishes very nice and clean. This is probably my favorite thing that Wachusett brews. And on here, it's a little confusing. It says brewed and canned by Cambridge Brewing Company, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and under special agreement, Westminster. That makes it sound like they brew at both places, so I very much doubt that. These are the Wachusett cans and the dating. Oh, the Best By date is also not so far off. It's a little over 2 months, less than 2.5 months away. I'm not sure how old this can is, but it's very nice, very enjoyable. Probably the best deal on a craft Pilsner. And it's not like one of these kind of light lager, American adjunct, kind of more boring craft lagers that are showing up that are pretty good. But they're not really Pilsners. This really has that extra hoppy pop and some unique qualities. I'd give it a 4.25, maybe even a 4.5. I might buy another case of this, honestly, if I can get it, at $1.25 a can. That's a great deal for something like this. Yeah, very good beer. Highly recommended. Bye.